Hey, there's good news. We're gonna learn some note names on the instrument, and like we were talking about, this is a geography test, not a deductive reasoning problem. We're gonna do dosages of 2 notes and then 4 notes. And the thing I was saying during the lesson was imagine if 4 of my friends walked in right now. On the geography test, they all have first names, and none of them are like elaborate ones you don't recognize. You would get 100 on that test the first time, or you might have to be like, wait, I'm sorry, were you Jeff or Jim? Okay. And you might have to be like, wait, is this A or D? Okay. But only having, the good news is like, all of your bar chords, all of your blues stuff, all your power chords, they're going to take on a much deeper layer of meaning when you actually know what chord you're playing. And same with all riffs, you know, the neck. And if we just learn like 6 note names, we're going to be able to find all the other ones. And we tend to orient on these 2 strings for years as players with no negative connotation to that kind of. I'm going to do C stuff, and we kind of go here and here, or I'm going to do A stuff, and we kind of go here or here. Thinking about a note on the bass strings for a moment, even if we don't start playing on the bass strings, like playing scales and so forth. My brain will go A, and then playing wherever. So yeah, G and C, A and D. Now the whole concept now is that you need to randomly quiz yourself on those. If you want, I mean, the best way to do it is just actually make flashcards, or just like whatever on your word processor. Just be like G D V A and set up some kind of shuffle thing or whatever. But you will start getting 100 on that quiz really fast if you do it that way. Just be like, okay, G and C, A and D. And I'm going to also suggest a step where you think about the 5th string first, and think about it as C, G, D, A, as just like an in-between, a way to have it sink in more, rather than your brain setting up only a process to be able to think about C if it's just gone G. So yeah, you're going to be able to think about it. First, you're going to be going G and C, A and D. When you start getting 100 on that quiz, but before you do that, you can just process it as C, G, D, A, just thinking about the 5th string first, rather than thinking about the 6th string first, or D, A, C, G, going through them backwards or something like that. So having thought about the 5th string first, rather than always starting your thinking with the 6th string, it'll sink in pretty hard if you just stop right now and just work on what we were just discussing, just memorizing these 4 note names. Do them in sequence, do them starting on the 5th string, and then quiz yourself at random. Pause the video until you get 100 on the quiz. It's 4 total dots. Try to verbalize things in your head like I'm confusing A and D. This one's A, this one's D. When you run into glitches. We're staying on the dots here. And it makes sense this would be G, and that this would be a G bar chord in the grand scheme of G. And that this would be a C bar chord, because they have all the same notes in them. It sounds right. They have the same bass note. Or if it hasn't been evident that it was that straightforward, it totally is. So 7th fret, B and E, and I'm gonna suggest that you learn these 4 notes, get 100 on that quiz. And then at part 2, there's the 7th fret islands on the continent of bass string, and B and E, or E and B. And for all of our rhythm guitar playing, any set of changes somebody can hand you after you just spend this, 15-20 minutes probably, if you did it efficiently, of memorizing 6 total dots and assigning names to them, which is the same thing as if I pulled up a map of Paraguay and we tried to memorize the name of 6 cities, we'd be getting good at it pretty fast. But while we're at it, if we started with 4 and then added 2 more, we'd get really good at it really fast. Same exact concept. Geography test, not deductive reasoning problem. You're going to be able to figure out how to play any chord. Bar chords are kind of at the heart of what we've been discussing today. We play 2 kinds of bar chords. We play E-shaped bar chords, where we're like the human capo playing an E out in front of it, or an E minor. Technique-wise, we talked about 2 different concepts today. One is spreading not just this part of your finger enough, but including using your first knuckle. It's kind of hard to be like which one, because it's the first knuckle of your finger. which is, gonna feel like my finger's sticking up really high. That's fine, no problem. The other thing is, just like everybody, you're trying to have your thumb up higher, like where we hold it when we're playing first position chords, but bar chords are the quintessential. This calls for classical thumb position situation. There's no other way to really wrestle our hand into doing it successfully that doesn't suck. That's what this thumb position is for. It's for I'm doing something involving barring, or I'm doing something involving a bunch of reaches that physically can't be done or even approximated with my thumb over the top going like this. And similarly, it's really hard to play bar chords where you've been trying to do it, which is what I've got here. A scrunched up hand where I'm mostly behind the instrument, bend at this knuckle, like we are when we're in first position. I've got a really good angle on this right now, rather than being all out in front of the instrument, fretting, with this part of your hand as well. Not this, but this. And one way we have to trick ourselves into getting into classical thumb position is doing 4 fingers over 4 strings on the bass string, and let go of wanting to have your palm touching the instrument. It's not always going to be. So that's, when you're initially working on this, and just kind of maybe spend some time now after you memorize the note names, just trying to get a bar chord to ring out successfully. Just wrestle with a major shape, wrestle with a minor shape, move your finger up and down, work on getting your thumb where it needs to be, and, get in good position, push down as hard as you can, and, just set aside some time just to work with moving your hand into the new technique. And if you need to think of these brand new shapes you've never learned, try to trick yourself subconsciously that way. So there's E-shaped bar chords that include notes on all 6 strings. Right now it's like I'm a human capo and I'm playing E, or E minor. And there's a second group. Are you confused?
Yeah.
Okay. Here's E. Yeah. Like this is what an E looks like.
Right.
And here I am barring the negative first fret.
Right.
When we're playing these bar chords,
okay.
That's what we're doing. Or E minor.
E-shape
Looks like this.
Mm-hmm.
And those have notes on all 6 strings.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are A-shape bar chords. There's no third group. This is like, I'm playing A this way, or A minor. And now we're talking about, just like when we try to play A, we're just trying to play the A string down. Now we're playing chords where even if you might be touching the 6th string still, you're on, you're getting your arrangement. Here's a C, and that's where I am in the world right now. When you're playing the A-shaped chords, the minor shape is super easy, because it's just A minor, which is the same exact shape as E, and same degree of difficulty as the ones we were just playing. The one that's difficult is the major shape, that and the flat down your ring finger one. So let's just acknowledge that, right now this is a C chord, like there's C, I'm doing that, it's the same as if I was like, and either way there's just 2 groups of bar chords that we commonly use. And probably 95, I meant to say, percent of bar chording is, some variation on those 2 shapes. So now you can actually figure out any set of changes somebody would hand you. Like, it's like E flat. You're going to be like, okay, so E flat major. Or like, E flat minor. E flat minor. Or like G sharp. G sharp, and these are the chords that don't have first position correlates. G, there's a bar chord and a first position chord. G sharp, there's no way to play it in first position. So this is one of the chief reasons that we want to actually have been memorizing these bar chords as we went, because of ones like at the 2nd fret, like F sharp, and B, where there's no first position correlate. Or at the 4th fret, where there's, A flat and C sharp, there's no way to play those chords in first position, as opposed to G and C, where it's, G, C, and virtually all the same notes on them. So yeah, however long it would take with however many brain farts, just knowing this is major, this is minor, this is major, this is minor, thinking about E shapes and A shapes, you can figure out any set of changes now. I'm going to do a separate video for the song.